Hi everyone, hope you're well. I've not been around for a little while. I've had a bit of illness this week. Monday up to Thursday I've been ill. So I'm just feeling a bit better now. Just waiting on test results. It should all be alright hopefully. But yeah, just out and about again. I've not been out all week. So no videos, no bike rides, no training. So it's really frustrating because on the Sunday night I felt good as gold. And I was looking forward to a big 30-mile bike ride on the Monday, and yeah, it didn't pan out. And a bit of a wasted week being ill, but it's all good. It's all good. I'm back on track now. I'm going to go I'm off to see my mate Russell North now. Now Russell North asked to do a short film about me about 15 years ago, which we ended up doing, called New City Fighter. And I'm going to go and see Russell because there's a bit of footage in that where, as a lot of you may know, when I first started boxing, it was in prison. I didn't start boxing in a gym or like everyone else normally does. They start off going to an amateur gym, pad work and all that stuff and bags. My first introduction to boxing was actually in Woodhill Prison when Norman Bucklands encouraged me to box, and because we weren't allowed to have gloves, pads, head guard, gum shield, all we could do was we used to go and fight each other in the shower area with a couple of pairs of socks wrapped around our knuckles as like makeshift bandages, and then me and Norman would go in and fight each other pretty much, which is a pretty tough introduction to boxing for an 18-year-old. But I was a big lump. I was 18.5 stone, and I was up for fighting. I was a street fighter then, so to go up against Norman was like, I love fighting the toughest. You've got to fight the hardest people. You can't just fight weaker people. So going up against Norman in prison was really good. Now, when Russell North wanted to do this little film about bits of my life, I said, why don't we make it a positive spin on me going to prison and then coming out of prison and boxing? So there's a positivity that came from that prison experience. So as we started doing the filming, it was only meant to be a little film for us to watch, for the crew to watch and our friends that were in it. It wasn't meant to be anything bigger than that. And to be honest, if I'd have known it would have been a bit bigger, I probably wouldn't have done it, because I was a little bit dubious about it. I didn't want a film to be done about me. I didn't want people to think I'd commissioned a film to myself, which I hadn't. It was Russell's idea, and it was quite hard for him to get me to actually agree to it at the beginning. But anyway, the reason I'm doing this, there's a bit of footage of me and Norman. During the filming, we had to replicate the days when we sparred in prison with the socks around our knuckles. Now, when me and Norman were trying to replicate this, we're not obviously trained stuntmen or fight choreographers, are we? So when we're doing it, we made it as realistic as possible. So we're actually going pretty much toe to toe with the socks around our knuckles. And don't forget, I was a pro boxer by this time. Norman was probably in his 40s. So, but yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll pass you over to myself and Russell. Cheers. So I'm here with Russell, who I spoke about a minute ago. Russell's going to talk about when we were filming the fight scenes for New City Fighter, which was Russell's second film after Suited and Booted. So Russell had to film me and Norman when we replicated the fights we had in prison with the socks around our hands. So by this time I was a pro boxer. I think Norman was in his 40s.
So if you use your speed and forget about the power, yeah, and the accuracy. So it's speed and accuracy, like that. Bang, bang! Good boy, come on. Get that guy. Ah! Yes. Give me 3 good shots. Hey, that's nice. Fucking good.
So do you remember the filming, Russell, to me and Norman?
I do, and this is something I was talking to you about the other day. This particular scene where we had to replicate these guys fighting in the shower. So we
used a school, didn't we?
No, it was actually a gym.
Yeah,
it was actually a gym. So we used this gym, and you was about 20 stone at the time.
Yeah, about 19.
Yeah, about 19 stone. Norman was a good 21 stone, 22 stone. And I remember going into this cell, and Norman had brought a couple of shirts from prison.
Yeah,
so
they were prison shirts.
They're actual prison shirts. So it looked the part, and the whole, the scene was great. Everything looked exactly how we needed it to do. And I remember just before we started doing the scene, Norman said to you, "I want to have a proper fight."
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, surely they're just talking about like a 20% sparring, fight. And I was like, yeah, we'd see how this goes. So I basically, cut a long story short, I said action. You two started sort of fighting each other. and it very quickly turned into like a full-on fight. And I remember the two guys I had doing the camera work for me, they basically looked over to me and as if to sort of say like, these two are going to fall out in a minute. And I was like, oh the shit. So I'm like 13 stone wet out the shower, and these two, the two cameramen basically look at me as if to sort of say like, if these two fall out, you got to stop it. And I'm thinking, I'm just going to call like cut, and we just called it a day. Obviously we didn't. We let you go on a little bit longer, and obviously you could see that you were trying to, you know, not throw full-on haymakers. It was almost a case of,
I was a professional by that time, so I was just picking my shot. It became natural for me to pick my little shots.
Yeah.
Little shots here and there, just pick them.
And you could see Norman coming closer and closer and stronger towards you. So you was almost like at one stage you almost tried to sort of push him back and sort of like slow it down a little bit, but his punches are coming in quite heavy, and then all of a sudden something must have just clicked in your head, because you just started throwing these punches and they were like bang, bang, bang. We were like, oh shit. And you threw this left hook, I think it was, and Norman's nose just pops.
Ooh.
You can hear the crack when it pops, and Norman goes, whoa. It was just a short left hook, but just one of them counter shots that you just throw really quick. Like, it wasn't a power shot, but it just landed in the right place.
Yeah, perfect shot, to be honest with you. But it kind of echoed around the shower room, and everybody just almost sort of like stopped, and Norman just sort of like took a step back. It was like, oh, good shot.
Carried on.
And then just carried on at you. And then one of the other things that I thought was quite funny, not at the time, I was kind of myself at the time, but obviously Norman's nose was broke and there's all this blood coming out, and as he's getting closer to you, he's sort of sneezing on you and like blowing the blood all over you.
Ooh, good punch. Ooh.
And at the time I was quite close to you guys as well, and I was getting covered in splashes of blood and things like that. So it's kind of
a realistic fight scene.
It was a really realistic fight scene.
That's what we did that is what we did in prison. It was almost just how we used to do it anyway. And we've always sparred hard anyway, even with the gloves on or with the socks on in prison, or later on when we got out of prison, we done it with the gloves on. But we're used to doing that with each other.
Yeah,
and
but we wasn't. So
yeah.
So to us it was like, oh my god, these two are like having a full-on fight. But straight as soon as the scene was finished, you two was brilliant. You know, you're best mates and you have been for years, so it's kind of nice to see.
That's good, mate.
Getting better?
You've improved a lot.
Yeah.
You're coming on.
The left hook's coming on.
But it was one of those scenes. There was don't get me wrong, there was a lot of scenes while making New City Fighter that we pushed boundaries and we did things we probably shouldn't have done. We kind of got what we needed to in the end. But that scene for me was funny. There was a couple of little other funny things. I thought it was funny the fact that Norman had stolen these shirts from prison.
Yeah.
That made me chuckle.
Yeah.
And I think the first time that you guys walked into the changing rooms, you put your socks on your hands as if you would, like wraps, and then Norman put his hands inside the socks. So they almost look like hand puppets. Yeah, and I was thinking to myself, that doesn't look right.
No.
I'm too scared to ask him to take them off.
Yeah.
So we just
that
left it.
That wouldn't have done any protection either. It would have been no protection.
Yeah. So but I just thought, we'll leave it.
Yeah.
I wasn't brave enough to say.
Yeah.
But and then obviously the nose breaking, it looked great on film. Really chuffed.
Real,
really chuffed it come out the way it did.
Yeah, and you can't hear it in the film, but you can hear it on this particular.
Yeah, the
clip.
scene that you're putting in this video, you can definitely hear it.
Yeah.
And obviously you can see it as well. His shirt's covered in blood.
Yeah.
You were covered in blood. I was covered in blood. It was, you know, some people pay for things like that.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Russ. I appreciate your time, mate, and good to see you again.
Good to see you.
And I appreciate that. All the best.
Yeah. Take it easy, yeah?
Who's asked me to give you these on my way through?
I came through with them. Nice one.
So how's the old boxing thing with Noel?
Let's rock and roll. Ooh. Ooh, good punch. Ooh. That's good, mate.
Getting better?
You've improved a lot.